Good evening and welcome to our midweek faith lift. Today is Wednesday, February 8th, 2023. And I have a special guest today who invited me to her home. Her name is Laura Miller. Hi, Laura.
Hi, Shannon.
So how you been?
Good.
Good. What you been up to?
Working.
Working and what else? Church and
Just the usual stuff.
Usual stuff. Yeah. So I thought I'd bring you on to kind of like introduce you to our viewers and maybe you can give them some background information on some of the stuff you're doing, your spiritual practice, and also I'm hoping that you can answer some questions that I have here.
Sure.
Yeah. So let's start with New Thought.
Okay.
How'd you get introduced to New Thought?
So
How'd you find out about New Thought?
I think initially I got introduced to the concept of it by the film The Secret, which I think a lot of people do. But I didn't realize there was a church around it or anything like that. And then later we went to a Unity, but it was kind of declining at the time, so it didn't really grab us at that time. And then really when I really started getting into it and understanding what a giant universe of information that is out there about it is when I was on a business trip, and I had just found out that one of my friends had breast cancer, and I had been out of touch with her for about 3 months. And so I had made a plan to go see her and help her through that. And I was leaving the hotel where I was staying, and I was watching PBS, and this person, Mae McCarthy, came on, and these are her books, Path to Wealth and the Gratitude Formula. So it was really a powerful moment for me, because just the situation as well, but just her message resonated with me so much, and just a really simple plan for having a spiritual practice, which is what I've been doing since probably around 2017, pretty much every day, is basically you read for 15 minutes something that lifts you up, something spiritual or whatever you want to read, that would be inspirational, and then you spend. I said read for 10 minutes. Did I say 15?
No, you said read.
I said read for 10 minutes, and then you spend 10 minutes writing a letter to the universe, which at this point I've kind of got my different letters that I write each day of the week, so that I'm kind of writing the same thing, because I'm know what I want, and I keep that message consistent, and then you read that letter out loud, which I think is really powerful.
Yeah.
And then you spend 5 minutes meditating. So I was doing that for a long time. And then I recently, we went on a trip in July on a retreat where we went over the book Living Untethered by Michael Singer, which is a book that he had done before that was called The Untethered Soul, and I think a lot of people have read that. And I had read that a long time ago, but it really resonated with me once we went through it on the retreat, and I started to really dig into that idea that, and I think the part of it that really resonated with me is when he said, if a genie came down and said, I'll grant all your wishes, and you said, okay, here's all my wishes, and the genie was like, okay, I'm going to grant every wish that you said, except you're always going to feel depressed and anxious. Then I think I would say no, right?
Right, yeah.
So, isn't the goal to feel good? Shouldn't that be our whole focus? So I've really been focused on that, and according to Michael Singer, if you meditate, that really helps, and it has really been helping me. So I kind of am starting to get it. So I've been meditating 15 minutes in the morning and at night.
Yeah, that 15 minutes is a long time. When you're first starting out meditating.
Right, yeah, I'm getting used to it, and it's really, it doesn't feel long anymore.
Yeah. And so you're also involved in a few service projects at Unity of Chattanooga, actually. And the first service project I think you got involved in was the Gay Pride celebration here in Chattanooga, Tennessee.
That's
and,
right.
And I think you did a really, really good job with that project. Can you tell our viewers a little bit about that project? And
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we had a booth there that you had set up,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you got a lot of the background and
Yeah.
everything for that, and it was just a real, everybody coming together kind of project, because you had bought these rocks, and I got really inspired
Yeah.
when I heard that you had those rocks,
you were
and I
like,
was like, I want to
do it,
paint those rocks. I want to
300,
that's
300.
my project.
Yeah, you had 300 rocks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I did 200, and Laura Noyes did 100.
Yeah.
So
And
it was-
I just thought it was a good idea for you to do them yourself, by yourself, because I thought if we spread those rocks around, they'll
Right.
look different. They wouldn't look uniform. But anyway, you took on that big project, and I'm sure you had a whole bunch of rocks around your house.
There were tons of rocks
Yeah.
around the house for a whole month. And what we decided to do was the 12 powers,
Mm-hmm.
which, and I think really we went by Unity Village. And I think that's really where I sort of got inspired by the 12 powers, because that tower that you always see in the pictures,
Right.
the 12 powers, there's little
Right,
there's little
around,
statues
little-
around there
around,
with
yeah,
the 12
yeah,
powers.
yeah.
So I was always like intrigued by that. And then I know Penny provided to me that, she was the one that pointed out that they have colors associated
Yeah,
with them,
yeah.
and little phrases associated
yeah.
with them. So I'm like, this is just lending itself to these rocks so perfectly. So we had a wisdom rock, and we had I'm trying to think what all the rocks
We had
were.
love.
Love was super popular.
Yeah. And power.
Power, strength.
Yeah. And zeal.
Zeal.
Yeah. And these are powers
And
that.
faith.
Yeah.
Faith was the least popular.
But these are powers that Unity teaches, or that I think other New Thought associations teach, that reside inside of people, and we wanted to.
Right. Yeah. There's like parts of your body
Yeah.
that they are associated with.
Yeah. And so we gave these rocks out to people that had no idea about New Thought, to try to get them to get in touch with that particular part of their spirituality, and we actually gave them a
Absolutely.
definition of that. And so I thought that was really popular at the parade.
It was, and it really drew them in, because they got to choose their rock, and then we gave them the card that went along with the rock.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
it was a popular activity.
Yeah, it really was. And I pulled them off to the side and said, "Don't you know you have that power?"
Yeah, nice.
Yeah.
I love that.
And then we actually had a few visitors come to the church after that. I mean, we had several visitors show up
Nice.
after that. So, and it was just kind of new to that community, because that community tend to be
Right.
ostracized to some extent because of their sexual preference. So having a place where they can come and feel as if that they're welcome, I thought that was a really good.
I thought it was really beautiful that there were 7 churches there.
Yeah.
That was nice.
Yeah.
I mean, it was our competition.
Yeah. And in the
It was
South, it's really nice to see
It's-
7
It's
churches.
it's very nice.
And this
I
is the
think
Bible
people
Belt.
were very impressed.
Yeah, Bible Belt, yeah. And also, so you came, you just recently moved here to Chattanooga.
We moved here in July. That's right.
Yeah, so it's been about what, maybe 7, 8 months now?
Since July,
Yeah.
8 months.
And so, how'd you hear about us? Did you hear about us, like?
Well, we were going to Unity in Las Vegas,
Mm-hmm.
and basically we were just trying to choose where we were going to live.
Mm-hmm.
So we went to Nashville, and there's a CSL and a Unity there. We went to the Unity there, and we went to Athens
Mm-hmm.
and checked it out. And then we kind of came to the realization that we wanted to move to Chattanooga, which is very close to where my parents live. So
cool.
that's super nice.
Cool.
But then once we knew we were moving here, we knew that there's only one Unity here. So
Yeah.
so we knew that we were going to be a part of Unity. So
Yeah.
we started contacting Penny and everything, and she did such a lovely job of reaching out to us and making us feel welcome.
Why was it important to get connected to a Unity church when you moved here? Why was that so important to you?
Well, we were familiar with Unity from Las Vegas, and we felt like it would be a great starting point to make friends and just get involved with the community.
Yeah.
And it has been. It's worked out really nicely.
Yeah. And were you involved in another faith before Unity? Before you joined the Unity New Thought movement?
I grew up Episcopalian, but not super religious or anything in our family.
So is there a reason why you stopped? You don't practice that anymore and started practicing the New Thought or Unity? Because we have a lot of viewers that are online that are like they're
Episcopalian.
Well, no, I don't think that, but they're
I'm
definitely.
Episcopalian.
But they're definitely like considering coming, and they want to know the difference, and they want to kind of know the difference in the back in the churches.
I think I didn't really. I mean, in California and in Nevada, there's less. In Las Vegas, especially, there's probably less people that are definitely going to church. Like, not everybody has a church home. Like it's a lot more popular here, I think. But
everybody's gambling in Las Vegas.
Yeah, Sin City.
No.
But so for us, it was more. It wasn't necessarily that we were looking for a church, but we were drawn in by the message and the life. The way of life.
Yeah, the way of life.
Can show you a new way to live your life.
And that's what I'm wanting you to maybe express a little bit. What is that life? What is that? What is it? What is that?
Well, just like I have a morning practice. I never, before I never had that, and I have a goal to be more centered and to live a happier, more joy-filled life.
Yeah.
And really focus on that and figure out, how can I get from where I am now to where I want to be.
And what makes that different from Episcopalian?
I think when I went to Episcopal Church, that it was a lot more of the ceremonies. So we were just going through ceremonies that were important to us. We wanted to include Reno.
Oh, hey! this is one of my favorite dogs, Mr. Reno. Mr. Reno. Now once Reno, I start petting Reno, he's not gonna leave. He's not gonna
that's true. He's gonna jump up on you.
Now he's licking my hand. Okay, Reno, go sit down over there. So you were saying it's a little different than the Episcopalian because it's like more ceremonial.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So Reno's like, hey, I want some attention over here.
Yeah.
So you were also involved in because as soon as you got here in July, you and your husband Eric got here in July, and you guys just kind of jumped into some of the stuff that we were doing here. You got involved in the Gay Pride celebration here in Chattanooga. Then you got involved in the first thing I remember you at was the spiritual connection group that you came to, because we have a spiritual connection group that meets every Thursday at Whole Foods on Manufacturers Boulevard here in Chattanooga, and I guess you found out about that and you came.
Yes.
What was that like when you came? What was that experience like when you got to that spirit connection group?
I really like the spiritual connection group because it's very casual and it's a good way to just meet people and have a conversation without, you don't necessarily have to be at the church service or anything to just meet everybody and learn what they're all about.
Yeah.
So I think it is a great way for people to introduce themselves to the other people that are there and see if it's for them.
And I love Whole Foods food.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I always get
a good dinner.
Pizza. And then you were involved with the homeless outreach projects that we the homeless outreach project that we had around Christmas time. I really saw you and Eric getting involved in that. We pulled up at that parking lot at the hotel.
Right.
With an extended stay hotel. You want to tell us a little bit about it?
Sure. Yeah, we had originally planned to go to a different location, and it was really Mona Petro that organized a lot of it, and you. But we were going to go to a different location, and when we got there, there was another church there. So then we ended up just randomly, which is really to the power of the universe and how all these things work, ended up at a place where we could hand out these sandwiches that we had prepared and hand out the clothing that we had gathered from the folks at the church. So it really was a case of the universe really pushing us to the right spot. Yeah.
And what I thought was interesting about you would think that, the first place that we had picked was a place where people live in tents. They actually live outside in tents. So we went downtown to give out supplies at what they call the Chattanooga Tent City. And so you would think they would be more in need, but around the holiday time, most churches, most places that are looking to do outreach will gather all their resources to that particular place, because that's where the most needy tend to
Right,
be. You
right.
know, people that are on the street sleeping in tents. But when we got down there, it was like maybe 7 or 8 organizations down there. Food just sitting on the street.
Yes.
Looked like it was going to spoil. And we were like, wait a minute, do we need to give our resources to these people? I mean, they have
Right.
an abundance of resources, and
Right.
so we just happened to say, let's go to a hotel.
Yeah, I don't even know how you knew where to go, but
Yeah.
we just kind
We
of
just
ended up there.
Yeah, I think-
it was really nice.
Yeah, but anyway, we ended up there, and these are people that are actually living and paying rent in a hotel,
Right.
and they were so happy that we were there when we got
Yes.
there. Yeah, I just thought we did a really, really good job. And randomly showed up, and people were getting out their car with their kids. Do you have anything for my kids? And people with Kentucky Fried Chicken uniforms on that are working every day. We call them, I guess they call them the working poor. But these are people that pay rent at that hotel, and we really did a good service there. You were trying coat. Can you fit this? You were trying to give out coats to. I mean, it was little kids this size. You were like, can you fit this coat? I'm like, because you just really wanted them to have whatever they
Right.
wanted, and we just wanted
Right.
to give that stuff out.
We
And
just wanted to match the right people
yeah,
with the right stuff.
Yeah. So that was really a good experience. So you are also you mentioned your spiritual practice. You mentioned that
Yes.
you do like a meditation. Is there anything else you do other than like that particular activity, or you do other things, or is just mainly focused on that?
Well, that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's the main thing. That's a lot. So what have you? You said that you right now you're focused on a particular, like you focus on a particular thing until you actually get to that place where you obtain it, and then you go to something else. Is that what you said?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll make changes if there's something that's passed and I got it or whatever to the letter.
How long does it take for that to show up? That stuff, like when you do these things, like is it an average time, or some things take longer than others? You find it.
I think the interesting thing, and to kind of the Michael Singer thing as well, is it doesn't always show up the way you expect it to, but it's what you wanted, So, I mean, I think Michael Singer kind of says you don't really know what you want, and you should just let the universe tell you what you want. And I find that it's really nice to also just kind of let things happen and not kind of judge it and say, oh, well, this didn't happen for 6 weeks.
Yeah. That makes sense. Yeah, I remember when I started my pet sitting business. I was looking to get some things for the business, and I just started like writing fake checks out and putting it in the memo
that's really
area.
amazing.
This is what I I would put a price for how much I thought that the object was. How much it cost, and I would put a memo in the memo section. I would put exactly what the object is, and then I would just kind of like say, okay, whatever. And sometimes it would show up. I would actually just go buy it myself.
Sure.
And sometimes I would just pass by a garbage dump or a flea market, and I would see something that I wrote down, and I would just put it in the back of my truck, and that would be the thing that I would use. So it definitely shows up. And it's not always about obtaining things. Also, it's about the happiness and
Right.
Yeah.
Like moving here, that wasn't even anything that I imagined. But it's something that I really wanted but didn't think was possible, so I wasn't even writing it down.
Wow. It just happened. How did it happen? Like
I just didn't think Eric wanted to move here.
Oh, okay.
And he suggested it.
Oh, he suggested it. So you had it in your mind already that you wanted to move to closer to your parents.
Well, I wanted, I knew I wanted to be closer to my parents. But
So you transferred it to his head without him knowing?
I
Like
guess so. I'm more powerful than I knew.
So what's next for Laura Miller? What's next for you as far as books or book that you're? Because I know you're reading a few books. You're actually in a book club now.
Yes.
You want to tell us a little bit about that and.
Sure, yeah. The book club is really fun. I have never participated in something like that before, and we all shared the Discover the Power Within by Eric Butterworth.
Yeah.
So, which is a really interesting book that we went through chapter by chapter and discussed each chapter and went through our notes, and everybody had read the book, which was really nice. I think nobody cheated.
So it sounds like connection is important to you. Being involved in a spiritual, not only going to a church and hearing a message, but it's something else that seems like it's important to you, which is, and why? Why is that? It seems like that's important to you, like connection with people. And
connection with people is important, and I'm excited to share these concepts with anybody that's interested in learning more about them. So I think we all get really excited about that.
Yeah.
You know, when somebody new comes in and they have questions, and we're like, let me tell you about how this worked for me.
Yeah.
So.
Because the reason I'm saying that is because everybody that go to church is not looking to be connected to other people, you know.
That's true.
And so some people go to church. Most people go to church just to kind of hear a message and go home and be like, okay, I'm done. But I definitely know that I've definitely observed that you and your husband are involved in the activity, not only just coming to hear the message, but also involved in the activities that are happening. And does that do anything for you?
I think I want to spread that message, and that also I think we talked about too that like as far as the giving, I want to. I think like Reverend Doug was talking the other day about how you give what you want to get back, and like for me, time is something that I really struggle with. So like I always feel really busy and like I don't have enough time. So I feel like if I have to give my time, even though that's the thing that I at least want to give, because I know that that's really what's going to draw, you know, more of what I want back into me.
You definitely gave a hell of an amount of time on those 300 rods. You put a lot of time in that. Yeah, and they were really nice, really nice.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, Laura, I want to thank you for inviting me to your home.
Of course,
yeah.
Anytime.
And I want to thank you for joining me on our midweek faith lift.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Before we end, I want to remind our viewers that we have a Sunday service every Sunday at 11 o'clock. And we've actually changed our location. We're
temporarily.
Temporarily. For what? The next 3? Is it for next? We got
for February.
For February, yeah. And so we're meeting at the Herbert Fry Center at 4301 Anacola Highway here in Chattanooga, Tennessee. And we'll be there around 10:30 for that spiritual movement class that Laura Noyes does. If you're interested in coming to that. And then also we meet at our spiritual connection group at Whole Foods Manufacturers Boulevard. So you're welcome to come out to that also. And subscribe to our YouTube channel, which is Unity of Chattanooga. And like our page, which is Unity of Chattanooga on Facebook.
Well, I did want to say that the center, the Herbert, what's it called?
Herbert Fry Center.
Herbert Fry Center is really beautiful.
Yeah, isn't it nice?
It's right on the river.
I think we have a picture of that. Let me pull it up.
Okay.
Here it is. Isn't that a nice picture?
But it's right on the. I don't know if you can see in the picture, but it's right on the river.
Yeah.
And
watch this. I can do magic. And if you want more contact information, contact. See, look at that. Look at that. I can do that too. Look at that.
Nice. Powerful.
Yeah. Contact at unitychattanooga.org.
And there's a transcendental meditation class too at 1 o'clock on this Sunday.
That's the introduction to that.
Introduction to transcendental meditation.
Yes, we're going to do that after church.
Right, and it's free.
Yeah, and then we also have food after church.
And we always have food.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, love that.
Yeah.
Anything else?
The services are at 11.
The service at 11, yeah.
I think you probably said that.
Yeah. But I want to thank you so much for having me here, and thank you for joining me on my podcast. And I want to say goodbye to our viewers.
Goodbye.
Bye.